Hello, everybody. Welcome to my weekly meltdowns coverage of Big Brother Canada season 10. We went from 5 to 4 tonight. So really getting down to the wire here, but I think there's still we're getting a little slower, But this season is aging like fine wine. I'm still very happy with how things are going, and still lots to get into.
Well, the first 16 minutes of this episode were really long for me. Like, I can't remember a longer 16 minutes. Like, I really, like, it's just like, how much longer is this going to go? Oh, I've got 44 minutes left. Okay. Well, all right. See, this is why we need to do live watches because my ADD kicks in and I'm everywhere. I was in Oreos. I ate 7 Oreos. See what happens?
Allison, this is why you have me. You bring the comedy. I'm the one that has the notes that are typed out instead of written.
This is a comedy. This is sad.
No sadness here. We have so much to get into, including lots of drama that we missed from the triple eviction during commercial breaks and stuff. So lots to get into.
That's true.
But first, I want to say RIP to Matt's draft team. He is now totally out of the running, so we are going to have a new draft winner here. Matt Henning was on a little bit of a winner streak here at my weekly meltdown, but so I'll go ahead and bring that up now. So Matt and Beth's teams are completely gone. I still have Josh. Allison has Helena and Betty, and Adrian has Kevin left. So we'll see. I could see a case for anybody winning at this point.
No. There is a 80% chance that I have the winner. Seriously. And I pulled these picks out of my butt.
True. And let's also say hi to Joseph and Laura in the chat, and Adrian as well. He says, "Let's get it."
Joseph, I almost fell asleep in the first half too. Trust me. It's getting there. And I love Big Brother Canada. Don't get me wrong, but it's like I even texted Tyler. I'm like, this is dragging. And he's like, the feed or the show in general? And I'm like, the show. It'd be more exciting if the feed was freezing because then my blood pressure would be up and I wouldn't be falling asleep.
Well, I don't know what to tell you. This is like the very very classic like end of the season Big Brother, right? Like it's just dragging on a little bit. I kind of wish they would like for Big Brother Canada and US just like kind of speed up like from final 6 on maybe, right?
Right.
Like you don't need like that much time to like make decisions. So I like at this point in the game when there's only like a few people left. But all right, so triple eviction drama recap. So of course we saw that Josh wins the HOH, and I was really impressed to see Betty really coaching Josh through his decision making during his HOH reign. I've never seen Betty kind of like put herself in a power position, and I thought that she did a really great job like subtly controlling him and also just like reassuring him that like, listen, I am in your corner. Which is like makes it all the more like terrible for Josh's game that he still put up Betty.
I'm like, what does she get? Tyler, if I coached your ass like a winner and you threw me up there, oh, I'd be salt. There's got to be something worse than salty.
Let's be frank. I think if anybody's coaching anybody in Big Brother here, I like, no offense, Allison, but I think it might be going the other way around, right?
Yeah, sure. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and finish this episode since somebody didn't hit the go live button last week and they're feeling a little sassy still. Okay, you may proceed.
Yeah. But So of course, like we see Jacey-Lynne calling out Helena, saying she's a snake and she has no morals. And this is like this is the thing with Helena. And of course, it kind of speaks to like the double standard that is like how men are perceived in Big Brother as like masterminds, but like the moment that like women start doing it, they get called a snake. They get called like just like every name in the book. However, like Helena really doesn't do herself any favors here, in my opinion, in terms of
No,
trying
she
to
doesn't.
separate herself from Kevin, and kind of say like, no, I'm playing like a game for myself and not for second place with Kevin. So I'm just like a little disappointed in Helena. Like she just kind of sits there and takes it, and then just like sits down on the couch and just like mumbles to herself.
Listen, I don't care what kind of genitalia you're packing. If you're a snake, you're a snake. I don't care if you're a man or a woman. See, that's the thing for me. Whenever something like this happens, I'm not thinking about if it's a man or a woman. I'm just thinking about the game move and what just happened. So it doesn't, I guess it just doesn't matter to me. But I'm just saying, a jury's going to be full of a lot of men. I've just noticed that tonight. If you get what I'm saying.
It's definitely it's definitely a sausage fest like in the first half of the jury here. So of course like Betty freaks out once Josh tells her, sorry, I'm like trying to adjust the light here, but it's very sensitive.
It's like a disco ball.
Betty Betty freaks out over being told that she's getting put up after Jacey-Lynne wins the veto, and I think like she has every right to be caught off.
Yeah.
So she's like asking like Kevin, like, are you keeping me? Are you keeping me? And she's like, Helena, are you keeping me? And Helena's like, I'm in the bathroom. Sorry. 1 second. I wish that they had like a flush like sound effect or something.
I would have been like, I don't care if you're in the bathroom. It's a simple yes or no. I can hear you.
I also want to give props to Jacey-Lynne here. Of course, like all this is for a wash because she got evicted tonight. But she said, like, I don't understand why you're putting up Betty. Like, why not put up Kevin and Helena? Then you, me, Betty, and Summer can take them on in the finals. And I think that is like the totally right call. I just wish that Jacey-Lynne saw the writing on the wall a little sooner and went to work like before that, right? Like that's why like Josh ultimately like keeps Kevin and Helena so damn safe during that whole triple. It's crazy that they didn't touch the block at all. It's crazy to me that Helena still has not touched the block at all this season. Very, very impressive. But it just goes to show like how much like how great of a job they've done with just like micromanaging Josh and making sure that he's more loyal to them than to Betty. And I think that like Betty should be his like number one person. And him putting up Betty in the triple was like just a total disaster for that round of the like eviction and vote, but also like this whole week, right? So Betty ends up winning the letter shredding HOH featuring Ika Wong, which was very good to see. She said, "Josh, you've been crying all season. You cried over Slap. You cried over Kevin self-evicting. You can cry over this too."
Oh, hell yeah.
But very excited to see Business Bee Betty win her first HOH of the season. And I gotta say, like, she's definitely getting a little more winner's equity here. Like I kind of counted her out as like a goat to bring along and stuff, and she's still like very vulnerable heading into the next round. But I was very happy to see her win this HOH here when it really counted. The problem is, Allison, that Josh just put her up in the triple. So Betty feels the need to put up Jacey-Lynne and Josh together, and that is where like it's like what's the expression that's like like an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind or something like that. Like that's how I feel about this. Like that's how I feel about Betty saying, well, you put me up in the triple, you put me in danger, so I'm gonna put you up as a pawn, while Kevin and Helena are still right there. They are still not touching the block at all. It is crazy.
Karma.
And yes, I understand karma, but like, how do they not realize that like they're all like taking shots at each other and like taking each other out, while Kevin and Helena, who are doing like all the manipulating behind the scenes, are like just like skating by to the end when like they are playing the best game and they are such a clear duo. Like, talk some logic into me, Allison, because I don't get it.
Well, first of all, if you want logic talked into you, you've come to the wrong shop. But I will say these people are still playing the game as if there's a house full of people, and there's not. You're at the point now where it's 5 people, and that's got to be all it is people. Look,
Yeah.
friendships and relationships will blossom and grow and mend when this game is over. Okay, you've got to slit throats and just continue to stab people in the back, and you got to be dirty, and that's all there is to it. So for me, it's Jacey-Lynne had a good point. You know, you need to get rid of Josh. That's Betty's number one. And what did they do? They got rid of Jacey-Lynne. So now you have 2 pairs in the house. You have 2 teams that are going to be against each other, which is fine. I'm all for it. The more blood, the merrier. But I think Jacey-Lynne would have stuck a little bit more to her guns. I do think she would have shifted towards Betty maybe a little bit more. So then we would have still had 2 teams. So you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. But it just gets kind of mind numbing that you're watching it at this point and like, listen, Betty, I get it. What just happened is making you think I need to start playing with this and not this. You need to be playing with this the minute you get in there. Look, I could make a lifelong friend going in there, but my lifelong friend is going to have to be the kind of person that understands I gotta slit your throat and drag your blood all over the place so I can win, because that's why you're playing Big Brother, to win. We're all that fucked up in the head. That's why we're here in the first place. So stop acting like it. Oh my God, I just gotta go against my morals. I don't want to hear about your morals. There's something wrong with you that you got to go on a reality show and win money. I'm right there with you. Okay,
we are all guilty because we have auditioned for these GD shows many times.
Honey, I was sending in VHS tapes in 2001. I know your children are Googling the VHS. They go in VCRs. Okay, in 2001. So I mean, and I'm not. Anyway, that's my logic.
I will say that like I do want to just like reiterate like how tough of a choice it was for Kevin and Helena to decide between Josh and Jacey-Lynne. And I've seen like other coverage and like on Twitter and stuff like that, people like really knocking Kevin and Helena's like incredible, impeccable.
And Taryn was losing his mind this morning over it.
And that's the thing, like, but it's not just Taryn specifically. Like, a lot of people have been giving them a lot of shit and saying like they shouldn't be this indecisive. I think they have every right to be this indecisive because it is a huge decision, and I can like it is. I really you're right, Allison. It's very like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. Like either way, either option is an amazing person to leave next, right?
Right.
I was talking with Adrian on Twitter about is it the right move for them to take out Jacey-Lynne? Should they evict Josh? And it's very 50-50, right? Like I said last week, like it reminds me of when Cliff and Nicole won HOH in Big Brother 21, and they had to decide between putting up Jackson and Holly or putting up Tommy and Christy. Like it's like a decision like that. You know what I mean? Like it's so tough. And like Jacey-Lynne has a lot of like winner's equity in the eyes of the jury. I'm not personally saying she played an amazing game. I don't think anybody would say that, but the jury sees her as this like underdog that is like winning all these comps and sticking around. Whereas Josh, he has like been with them, but like he just for some reason has this like charm that like everybody roots for and wants to win and stuff like that. So he is equally as big of a threat to Kevin and Helena to get there to the end. So it's a tough call, but I think like where I kind of fell on it, and I was saying this to Adrian, was like I think that it ultimately was the right decision to take out Jacey-Lynne, because we've seen a lot more times that Jacey-Lynne has been under pressure in a competition and won the competition, and kind of like screwed up the plans of like who should go home because of that.
This is true.
And like just straight up just winning these comps in the end game is just so important in modern Big Brother. Like I feel like there will never be a Dr. Will ever again, because like you just have to win.
You just brought something to my attention. Now that Jacey-Lynne is gone, it is a completely even playing field, because none of these people are comp beasts, have won shit. So I'm really on pins and needles, because I don't know who's going to win, because nobody's won anything really, except maybe a PO here or there.
But, so Helena has won 2 vetoes, and Betty I think has won an HOH and a veto. Kevin has won a veto, and Josh won the triple eviction HOH. So like but like all of those victories were nothing compared to like Jacey-Lynne's like amount of wins, right?
Yeah,
so that's why I think like it's the right decision.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it was after, in the end, it was the right decision. But I mean, I kind of feel like it's the blind leading the blind here to the
exactly.
fun.
Like it's like like no matter what, like ultimately like you just have to win to get yourself there. It's like what it comes down to. And as great as this week was for Betty, right? Like winning that final 5 HOH, Allison, is so tough, because you're ineligible to compete in the upcoming final 4 HOH. So the only opportunity that you have for winning a comp to win safety for the week is that veto competition, right? So we'll see, but this is a tough spot for Betty. Very tough spot.
I already know how this is going to play out. Can I say?
Yeah, of course.
Josh wins HOH. Puts up Kevelina. Okay. Kevin wins veto. Betty goes up in her place. Betty goes home. Any way you shake it, Betty's leaving this week. I don't care, because if Kevin's HOH, Betty's not going to win POV. I just really don't see it, because if she goes up, and because she and Josh will be up, well, one of them win. Josh will win. I really feel like Betty's going this week, and it'll be it's just beautiful that it is on Josh's HOH.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like it's like, oddly enough, Allison, it's almost in Kevin and Helena's best interest for Josh to win this HOH, so that they have 2 people like competing for that veto, for one of them to ensure that they're the sole vote to evict. And no matter if Kevin or Helena win veto, I don't see any kind of like turning on the other. Like they are very like ironclad. Like we are going to the end together. So this veto really is do or die for Betty. Now, I guess like another situation is like, let's say like Kevin wins HOH, right? And then like Josh wins the veto. Like, does Josh evict Helena and take Betty? Probably. So like if Kevin, that's what I'm saying. Like if Kevin or Helena win the HOH, like it's a little tougher of a road for both of them to get there. Which is why like the final 4 veto is always such an interesting predicament, like it is, you are fighting for that last sole vote to evict of the season before the final HOH and stuff. So lots of exciting scenarios and stuff to go through. How did you feel about the loved ones phone calls and stuff?
Man, I must be a cold-hearted a-hole, because man, I didn't care. I mean, I get it. I mean, I just was like, okay, what got me was me fantasizing about my own visit like that. It didn't have anything to do with what I was watching. It was about me. Because
would it be Cloud on the other line?
It would be my son Jacob with Cloud, and Cloud would be, my son would be crying. I would be, I love you, Mom. I love you too. And Cloud beating on the glass, going, Gamma, why can't
Oh.
I get to Gamma? And then I'd be on my knees, snot coming out of my eyeballs. It'd be a mess. And yeah, it would be very, very Midnight Express.
I did enjoy Kevin's girlfriend being like, please don't propose right now. I like, because that's what I was expecting in that
I didn't
moment.
realize
I
he's
was like,
not married.
well,
I thought he was married.
So he's told everybody in the house that he's married, so he can say like, I swear on my wife, like wife that doesn't exist, winky winky, like
Hey.
yeah.
Yeah, Jillian's fake ass ring she got on Amazon. Where'd she get that? Because that's a hell of a lot nicer than what I got. So somebody look that up and get back to me the ASAPs.
I can share my screen while we're
who would get you on your visit like that? Because they don't normally do that. Look at that. Would you look at that? Okay, I would like a little rose gold in my life. I don't have. Ooh, you know what? Never mind. I like
give
that
this for $10.99, Allison.
I want the one. Go down. Go down to the middle row, to the left. No, what are you doing? Go up. I said the next row.
This
up,
one.
Up.
This
down.
Is the top of the page.
Down. That row. Okay, you can't see me. Stop. God, this is terrible. Okay, it's the one on the left. Okay, there's the rose gold on the right, and then the one ring, and then the other one. That's the one I like.
I see. Okay. So, yes. Oh, and they have a rose gold option.
Let me see the rose gold. Let me see the rose gold option.
This one right here. So it's $18.99.
I want the silver. I want the silver. Give me the silver. Right. There we go. Okay. We're
pretty convincing fake engagement ring.
I mean, this is my tweaking meltdown. Exactly. This whole thing. Exactly. We're shopping on Amazon. Okay.
I was just curious because I've never like heard of like legit looking like fake engagement rings. I didn't know that was
who would visit you? Okay, I got two things. First question. Who would visit you?
Maybe either my sister or my best friend Sean. Like of course like Tim is like my partner through and through. But I feel like we understand each other on a wavelength that like him and I seeing each other wouldn't kind of like reset my head. You know what I mean? Like we're always on the same wavelength. So I feel like secure enough that like I wouldn't have to see him to like get rejuvenated, if that makes any sense. Does that make sense? Like would you see like would you have your husband come?
Wow, I thought for sure you'd have Tim come, but I'm kind of surprised by that answer. Yeah, because I'd have Chris blinking.
Don't read into it. Like I just think like my sister like would like the same reason I would have one of them like have like a speech at my wedding. Like that's kind of how I look at it.
I want the person to come that's gonna. Well, okay, here's what I would do, because I would train my husband to blink code to me, or sign language or something. So actually, no, because he can't remember a movie we saw last week. I need someone with a good ironclad memory. I would have my sister-in-law Mary come, and I'd have her like blinking codes of who to try, you know, and then doing some kind of thing with her ear. Okay, if I pull on my tip, if I just scratch the tip of my left ear, that means the people that you're in an alliance with are shit. If I pull on this tip, it means you trust the people, and then you're on your own is me doing this. I mean, you know, just I would have somebody smart enough to bring me the code. My son's a blabbermouth. He would sit there and go, am I doing it right? Am I doing it right? And just blow me out of the water.
Actually, there's Big Brother precedent for this to be done, right? Like, so a former Big Brother winner had his son. So Evil Dick, like when he won HOH, he had his son like I think the first letter of the first sentence indicated like the letter of like the person he should be targeting, followed by like a sentence about like the weather or something, and the weather indicated like if he said like there's like lots of storms lately, that means like do not trust him. So I think he said like everyone here is doing well, like the weather has been really terrible lately, but we're pushing through. So like everyone target Eric because you can't trust him, hence the storms.
Yeah, I
So
want a
Evil
code.
Dick did that.
I'm cheating. I don't care. I'm cheating. I'm not afraid because you can't say anything. Jacob would have Cloud there, and Cloud's learning to talk, and Cloud would go, Daddy, you're supposed to tell Gamma that Tyler's full of shit. Remember?
Understandable. So
I'm surprised your answer wasn't me. I'm just a little hurt. I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit of guilt your way.
Listen, who would steer the ship without me here? I need you here to hold the fort down.
Let me tell you something.
Tell me.
I've never not hit the go live button.
That is true.
7 years, never.
That is true. But I've never said on Survivor, when is the merge coming? When the merge came, in fact, 2 weeks ago.
Do you want to know, in my defense, last night's show screwed me up because I didn't know they were already merged. And then Jeff wants to split up the tribes again to do a little thing. Yeah, exactly. So that's how I felt. I'm like, it's Jeff's fault. Because then my brain goes, I thought we merged. I guess not. So that's not my fault. I'm blaming the propster on that one.
I think that's pretty much it. Short little recap, but
jury
truthfully,
segment.
guys, the jury segment. We didn't really get too much. Like all we heard was like Gino saying like I'm rooting for Jacey-Lynne. Like if she's there, I'll like vote for her in the end. And Summer being like, yeah, but that's because you were in a showmance with her, which was like a funny moment. I enjoyed that chemistry from. Also, I found it interesting that like they showed like Gino seeing that Summer and Marty were evicted next happened like in the studio, like in the middle of questioning, which I thought was pretty cool. I like that.
Question, was Gino wearing the same thing that he was evicted in?
I feel like he always wears like a black tee.
Okay, because they were wearing the same thing. I mean, why are they making them wear the same clothes? This isn't Survivor where you show up at the finale. Remember when they used to make them wear the same clothes they wore the last night there at the finale, and then they stopped doing that? I wonder why. But whatever.
I appreciate like the glow ups for like Survivor finales, right? Like seeing them like malnourished after like 39 days and dirty and disgusting, and then seeing like Parvati in this like beautiful dress with like her hair done and stuff like that. I'm like, wow, she is beautiful.
Yeah, I think it just got to the point where these people go home and they ain't fitting back in those clothes.
Right.
I got a little camel action going on that I didn't have before. I don't think your viewers are going to want to participate in that view.
Yeah.
Exactly. So.
Like always at this stage in the game, it really just comes down to who wins the final four veto.
Right.
And it looks like if Kevin or Helena win the veto, Betty is going. If Betty wins the veto, then I think either Kevin or Helena, whichever one is on the block, is going. If she has the choice between the both of them,
it's going to be Kevin. Kevin's gone. Kevin is gone. He's got to be. However, if they form a full brain between the two of them, they got to get rid of Helena because that one will win.
So you think it's better? So let's say Kevin is evicted next with like Betty winning veto, right?
Right.
So that means the final three would be Josh, Betty, and Helena. I would have to assume that either Helena wins that final HOH or she is evicted third, and then the final is Josh and Betty. Like that is definitely like a very
and Betty's winning
real outcome. Yeah, exactly.
And guess who's got the winner again? Guess.
That is true.
How? I don't know how this keeps. We got to go to we got to go gambling or let me just
we do.
do something.
And like if she votes Helena over Kevin, like I think that's like a game losing decision for her.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if Kevin is in the end, like I'm not too worried yet about like the jury not really saying much about his game, because I think that like once Kevin is in that final two and he gets to like tell everybody his amazing like Dan Giesling game,
He
I
really
think
needs
it's
to watch
game
the
over.
approach, though. He's got his goodbye messages have been amazing. Everyone's been
true.
very mindful, except Summer and some other people. But
Well,
he's got to.
I thought Helena's goodbye message to Jacey-Lynne tonight was not very good. Like she
Oh
said,
yeah,
your head wasn't in the game and mine was. Like that is not something
you were
like to
playing for
say.
love. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, like you say exactly what Kevin said. Kevin said we have an alliance with Josh, and you were just too good of a player. Like you were just too strong, and that's like really all it came down to. It's so much better. Like this is how like Tyler lost Big Brother 20. This is how Paul lost Big Brother 19. And it's just frustrating because like I want to root for Helena so bad, but like I just see like every opportunity she like sabotages her own game for Kevin's benefit and really doesn't care too much about doing it. You know what I mean?
Just don't want Kevin to be in that final two and blow all of these amazing goodbye messages with, well, this is how I did it in my suit and tie.
Yeah. And Adrian says the goodbye message was not good for Helena, but she spoke facts. That is true. She did speak facts, but
I'm sitting here going, what does GBM mean?
Goodbye message.
Okay.
Yeah.
Y'all kill me with your act. Like I can't keep up with this.
So yeah, so I think next week we'll be back here for the finale of. So Allison, give us your official guess. Who is winning Big Brother Canada season 10?
Helena or Kevin?
You have to pick one.
This is my show. If I'm picking two, I'm picking two. It's either Helena or Kevin.
I'm gonna say it's
me how many people I can pick.
I'm gonna say it's Kevin that wins. I honestly, okay. Allison, I don't really see a situation where Helena wins.
Okay, I tell you what, I go with
if Helena is sitting next to Betty, or if Helena is sitting next to Josh, I think that like the other person gets the win over Helena. I don't really see like and this is not how I feel personally about her. This is how I think the jury is perceiving her.
Right.
I don't really see like a lot of good things being said about Helena in the house and on the way out of the house either.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's Betty or Kevin, something like that. Whatever.
You go Betty, I'll go Kevin. Okay.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
I said Kevin first, but sure.
Only because I asked you.
Fine.
But yeah, I think that's it for.
What are you drinking there?
Just green tea. Nothing exciting.
Of course, it's
Arizona
green tea. Of course.
If I had to have, you know how like if you have like a pendant of like 5 things that like summon you using dark magic, green tea from Starbucks would be one of those items. You know what I'm talking about? Like the little like star with.
I'm a 45-year-old woman. What the fuck are you talking about? Dark magic and summoning what?
Like the star inside the circle, right? And like at the tips of each point of the star is like one object that like all 5 of those like summons you. You know what I mean? One of those objects for me would definitely be a green tea from Starbucks. Because
what would summon me?
A fly swatter.
I found this on the web.
Oh, my Apple Watch. Definitely a fly swatter for one.
I can't imagine why. Don't you hate it when you try to do that in your?
I know, it's like
there weird. You go.
Would a cat count as an object, or because if so, then definitely Finley would be one of your items too.
This cat is something else. My grandson was in the floor playing, and Finley just comes up to him and starts sniffing his toys, and just takes his paw and bats one of them. And it scurries across the floor, and Cloud just looks and then looks at him, and Finley looks at him and goes, "Oh," and then walks off, and I'm like, well, that was something.
That's when you know you gotta watch out.
Okay. All
All
right.
right.
Well, that's
Well,
enough. That's enough.
yep. All right. Well, so everybody, we'll be back on Monday to talk about episode 3,
2.
right? 2 of sorry, I'm just like so excited to like to really get going with
Watched
this
it
because
this morning. I got to watch it again. Homecoming, the
I
real
got
world
so
ones.
emotional like watching like Danny's segment about his boyfriend at the time.
And
like,
guess who's coming on next week?
I know. I'm very excited. I want to reach out to a certain somebody that we talked about off air to. I think I'm gonna. I'm just so scared, but yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it just for you, Allison, just for you. But
Just
yeah, so we'll
blame
be
me
back
if it
on.
doesn't work out.
Exactly. We'll be back on Monday to talk about the Real World Homecoming, and then Wednesday we'll be back to talk about Survivor, the next boot, and then a week from today, the end of BB Can season 10. So we'll be back to cover the finale and all the good stuff there.
But don't worry, Tyler will find a way to continue to slip Big Brother Canada into every show we cover. So it's not really over.
I don't think so. Like I'm good with this season ending. You know what I mean? Like I think BB Can 9 was like incredible from start to finish, and this season has been amazing. Like one of the best seasons of all time for sure. But like I think I'm ready to like get off this roller coaster. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm good. That's how I personally feel. But yeah. All right. Well, all right, everybody have a great rest of your night. Take care. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.